Hey everyone, I'm Shania.
And I'm JP.
And welcome to
The First Drop. Shania, April has come to an end, and we may have missed it by a day, but you know what that means.
It's gonna be May. I do love May.
We shouldn't quit our day jobs with the singing career, that's for sure.
I know.
What does May bring us for the park, Shania?
May brings us, what do they say, spring flowers and...
April showers bring May flowers.
Yeah,
but
so
it also
May
brings
flowers.
new past member rewards.
Past member rewards. So for the month of May, for past members, what they can expect is Busch Bucks. Who doesn't love Busch Bucks?
It's the best way to spend money at the park because it's
really
not your
is.
money.
It's free. If it's free, it's for me. And we also still have early entry into the Food and Wine concerts and also early entry for the Memorial Day weekend, since that's coming up as well. And Food and Wine is coming to a close, but that's okay.
Oh.
Because we have Cinco de Mayo weekend and Viva la Musica, which is super fun. All new Latin-inspired cuisines that we're going to be able to have, new acts for the concerts. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, so some of those same cabins that you visited for Food and Wine Festival are going to be transformed for Viva la
Yes.
Musica and Cinco de Mayo to Latin-inspired flavors, sweets, treats, drinks. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And one, I guess it's a programming note, you could say, Friday, May 5th is going to be
Yes.
the only Friday so far that we have a musical concert on our festival field.
Yes.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the following weekend, we'll move back to just Saturday and Sunday for our concert act.
Lots of exciting things for our past members per usual. So if you want to learn more about your rewards and your perks this month, go to your past member portal and check it out.
Shania,
Yes?
there's nothing in these. But another super exciting thing that happened this
Yes.
month, if you haven't been to the park in a couple of weeks, is my new favorite spot has opened, Coaster Coffee.
I know why it's your favorite spot.
Why?
Because they proudly serve Starbucks.
They do proudly serve Starbucks.
Yes.
And if it's Starbucks, it's for me. Let's be honest.
Always. And they have funnel cakes also.
Oh my gosh, the maple bacon funnel cake is delicious. They have a full menu. They have grab and go treats as well and snacks, but a full coffee menu,
Yep.
hot chocolates, mochas, iced coffees, and then, the funnel cake. So Coaster Coffee is now officially open at the front of the park.
Yeah.
Also some really cool models inside as well.
Yeah, you can see Cheetah Hunt as like a really big model. You can see Iron Gwazi as soon as you walk inside. It's really, really cool.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't say they have some very cool merch.
Yes, they
So
do.
check out Coaster Coffee, now open at the front of the park. Shania, we had the opportunity to meet with one of our animal care specialists, one of our elephant animal care specialists on the show this morning.
Yes, her story is beautiful and it is a literal full circle moment here with Busch Gardens.
It's really, really cool. Check
Yeah.
out our interview with Bria.
Okay, it's time to talk about the elephant in the room, JP.
I can't
You see what I did
already.
there,
I do
right?
see what you did
I'm
there.
very punny today.
You are full of dad jokes.
Yes.
I'm impressed.
But this one makes sense because we have one of the animal care specialists from our elephant team here with us to interview, to talk to today. So you have Bria. Say hi to Bria, everyone.
Hi.
And we're so happy that you came to join us, and we cannot wait to hear your story.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here in this beautiful view.
Yes, yeah, our nice Serengeti plain.
Love it.
So, Bria, we do know that you have an amazing story on how you got started in this field, how you came to Busch Gardens. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so it's a very full circle moment in my career to have started working here and now to be given the opportunity to talk about it. So thank you guys. But I do have a little bit of a love story with Busch Gardens. I am from Tampa. I grew up right down the road over in Valrico. And as a kid, we were past members. We came here all the time. And growing up, I always loved animals. It was pretty obvious right out the gate. That's what I loved. As a young child, I thought I wanted to be a vet. And that's kind of the only animal job that really exists at the time. But I always loved African animals and things like that. Always loved elephants. I really wasn't sure about the vet path once I got a little bit older. I felt like I wanted to be more involved in conservation type of animals, but I really didn't know where that was leading at the time. So fast forward to July of 2012, I was here with my family for my little brother's birthday party because he absolutely loved coming here. And we were just happened to be walking by the front of the elephant habitat, and they had the elephant interaction area open, which is something that they'll just kind of open at random. It's not a set time. We just do it anytime that we have time and we want to open up to do a training session for the guests and just interact with them, answer any questions that they may have. But as 17-year-old me walking up to it, I stood there and watched these elephants at this interaction area and just asked so many questions. I actually have the whole day on, I recorded it. So it's a cool video to look back on because I just sat there in awe of these animals and all of these keepers, everything that they were telling me about the elephants. And I actually stood there and I think I held the keepers up a little bit longer than they probably
like
expected
asking
to be there.
questions and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think they were kind of like, we got to go. But I had so many questions. It was amazing. And we walked away from it and I looked at my mom and said, that's what I want to do. I want to be an elephant keeper. And so I went home and I Googled how to become an elephant keeper because I had no idea.
Do, right?
Yeah.
Legit. Checks
That's
out.
what I would do.
I had no idea where to start. And luckily I had a really big interest in psychology. So I'd already done a lot of animal behavior classes in high school with animal training and things like that. I trained my dog growing up. So I already had a love for that. And then once I realized that went hand in hand with being an animal care specialist, it kind of all came together. And it was a very clear dream that developed just from being here. So I went to school. I actually went down to USF down the road.
Oh, wow. They have a program for that where you can do
I majored psychology.
Okay.
So anybody who's really interested in kind of the animal field as far as the type of things that we do at zoological facilities, psychology is a really good major to choose. We get that question a lot, is how do you become an elephant keeper? Just like my questions too. Psychology is a good one because you can focus animal behavior through your course selection. But there's a number of different degrees that you can choose, whether zoology, biology, environmental science, things like that. But really anything science related. I chose psychology. And eventually I had some internships, about a year of internships, and then got a part-time job as a keeper up in Colorado. And then I got full-time up in Nebraska. So I kind of have moved across the country for this job, but always really wanted to come home. I don't know if you guys are super aware with what the animal field looks like, but it's pretty competitive. A lot of people love animals. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
not
A
at all.
lot of people love animals, and the positions are kind of hard to come by. For Busch Gardens specifically, there's only 8 keeper positions, and then a supervisor in addition to that. So you kind of it's a little bit of a waiting game. You kind of just have to take what's available and be open to moving. And so obviously home was always the goal for me. And working at the zoo that first got me into the field would have seemed a little bit like that was never going to happen. I just didn't see how all my dreams would really come together that way. But Christmas Eve, my curator gave me a call and offered me the job here. And he said, Merry Christmas. And it was the best gift I ever could have been given, to live 20 minutes away and be able to take care of animals and at the park that really started the whole story for me. So very grateful
It's
to be here.
full circle indeed.
It really is. It's very full circle. I mean, it gives me like chill bumps to think about, but
Wow. I had no idea that the animal kind of career industry was that competitive, where there's only a certain amount of spots and you kind of have to wait for that opportunity to kind of happen.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I studied psychology in
You did?
in
Awesome.
college, for my first 1 or 2 years. So I can become a zookeeper. No?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
I mean, we'll get you an internship.
Okay.
We have keeper for a days that
I
you
just
can
wanted to
come
make
out
sure.
and see what it's
I'm
like.
very qualified,
and-
so
Oh, yeah.
Extremely.
We have come to our elephant interaction area, ask lots
Okay.
of questions. We'll get you all
Hold Bria up for the
educated
day.
up for
Thank
it.
how
you
it
very
starts.
much. Okay. I'll no longer be here. I'm going to join them on the elephant.
Perfect.
Just wanted
We'll
to
get
make
you
sure.
some of your zoo muscles ready to go. It's a lot of raking, a lot of cleaning,
Ooh,
but
okay.
there's a lot of good stuff too. We get to.
I'm ready. I can do it.
I mean, the best part of the job is just being known by the elephants. Like, you create these relationships of trust, and they know you, and you'll call their names, and they come over to you, and it's the best. I feel so honored and privileged to be known by these 5 female Asian elephants that we have here, and that they've been responsive to me, because I just got here a couple months ago, and we're on our way to building some good relationships. And
So crazy.
That was
really
actually
good
one of my
team.
questions I wanted to ask you. We had the opportunity to meet a penguin yesterday, which is unrelated, I get it. But the way that this penguin interacted with its keeper was amazing to me. Just, calling his name or enrichment. So the same thing exists with these big Asian elephants that we have here.
Yes, I mean, really any species. I've seen there are some amazing, intelligent people in this field that have inspired me so much, but I've seen people train everything from fish to turtles to penguins to giraffes, rhinos. I mean, you name it. You can build relationships with almost any animal. Something that we use here at Busch Gardens is something called positive reinforcement. And basically what that training looks like is you ask your animal for a behavior. If they do it correctly, you will bridge them, which is some type of marker. We use whistles here. So some type of mark that says, good job, that's what I was looking for. And that is followed by food or some type of primary or secondary reinforcement. So food is a big one. Our girls also love to have hose play, or sometimes we'll do tactile, so scratching them down and things like that. But anything that they find reinforcing. And so that's how we get them to the point of being able to work with us, know us, and keeping those relationships positive at all times. There's never anything negative. So if we ask our elephant to do something and they didn't quite get it, or they offer something else, it's really as simple as moving on, asking them for something different, maybe giving them a little break, and then moving forward with giving them more context and trying to give them a little more clues on what we're looking for. At Busch Gardens, we don't use a dominant-based training structure. We are not more dominant than the animals. We have a relationship with them. It's more of like a conversation at all times. Something that we are big about here is also choice and control for our animals. So kind of what that looks like is basically the animal always has a choice. We use protected contact at Busch Gardens, so that means that we don't go in with our elephants. They always have their own space at all times. And so because of that, they need to approach us for any type of training or interaction. And that gives them a lot of choice and control. So at any point, they can choose to come over to us. If they want to interact with us, do some healthcare behaviors and things like that, then they know that they'll get really reinforced for that. But if they choose to go off and do their elephant thing, that's totally fine too. And they have the option to do so. So they have a lot of control in their lives, which is also a big reason why we have a lot of strong relationships with our animals, because they're kind of given those choices in their day-to-day lives.
Yeah. That's really cool. Like every time that we go, because we've seen the opportunity to like see you guys interact with them and like the relationships that you guys have. And the elephants always, I don't know if this is like the right term, but they seem so nice and like like they're so sweet, and that big of an animal, like you wouldn't think that, but they literally have their own personalities, like every single one of them.
Exactly. They all have
so
their
cool.
personalities. It's so interesting to be someone who is a behaviorist and always reading those behaviors, because then we get to know their personalities so much. I mean, there's so many little things that these elephants do that I love. Like yesterday morning, Rosie is one of our elephants here who we know she has a big fan base. A lot of people love Rosie. She's very short and petite, and so a lot of people think she's just very adorable looking. But yesterday morning, it was a little bit chilly for Florida this time of year. That is her favorite weather. And she was just out there kicking around and trumpeting and just getting super hyped up. And it's just, that's only something that she does. None of the other elephants kind of react that way to the cold weather, but she's just like, yes, this is awesome. I love this colder weather. And I don't know if it's just something that she doesn't get it a lot, so it's really novel for her. And then we have elephant named Tina, who can be really picky with her food, and she will let you know that she does not want that cucumber, that squash, but she will take your apple or your sweet potato. So it's funny. You can read those things about them, and we know what types of things that they enjoy, what they don't. They definitely let us know for sure, but they do have big personalities for sure.
I love it. Yeah. Big animal, big personality.
Exactly. Yep. Most animals do. I've been lucky to work with other species outside of elephants, and everything from a southern ground hornbill, which is a type of bird. They have crazy personalities, to even snakes that I've met that can be really mellow, which this field really opened my eyes to a lot of animals that I never expected to be involved with or see those types of things. And it's really cool.
Even for us too, just like being able to work here, you get to see all the different animals and the relationships you guys built with them. And we learn so much about like all the different species that we have, including like birds and
yes, everything. They all matter just as much as each other.
It's so crazy. I love it.
Bria, I know that you have an all-female herd, and you also have an all-female team as well, right?
We do, yes.
Which we just released a video about that, so check it out if you haven't already. But what is, we talked about Shania potentially being a keeper for a day, which would be great. I'm here for it. The content would be great. But what is in your day-to-day? What is taking care of an elephant, from morning to evening look like?
Yeah. Thank you guys for highlighting us for Women's Day, because our field really is very female dominated at this point, and I'm proud to be on one of those teams that is female dominated, and we work really well together, and I am very grateful to be part of this team. I just got here a few months ago, but this is one of the best teams I have ever worked with. They are smart, dedicated, hardworking women who just want the best for our animals every single day, and everyone really gives their all when they show up each morning. But as far as our day goes, we do get here at 6:30 every day, which we were talking about before we got started, which is it's pretty early. And then we are here until a little bit after park closes, so whatever that looks like based on the time of year. So it can be long days for sure. But kind of our day-to-day is, of course, we start the day with getting our elephants some breakfast. Usually what that looks like is they eat a lot of hay. They eat a lot of browse, which is trees. So different types of trees. We typically give out a lot of palms and banana trees. They are tropical animals, so luckily we live in Florida and have a lot of tropical
no shortage of that.
Browse to choose from. But that's kind of what they'll start their day with. We'll get them settled in the barn for the morning just so that we can go out to the habitat and get it all cleaned up for them. It is a good bit of cleaning. We clean for maybe 2 to 3 hours of our day. But luckily we have some big machinery that helps us get all of that done.
Like a big pooper scooper almost.
I know you're curious.
I am. Let me ask it. How much does a pile of elephant poo weigh?
Yes. That is another elephant in the room. People always want to know this.
I want to know.
Yep.
It's definitely.
Curious find.
I will say, so an elephant bathroom break can be anywhere from around 200 pounds or so.
Oh my God.
We have weighed a hefty one in the past
Yes.
with our elephant scale, and it came out to about 300 pounds. That's a pretty big one, but
Mind
I'd say
blown
they're
right
they're
now.
usually nicer to us. They'll give us some smaller piles here
But how
and there.
often is that? Like, how often do they poop? Do they poop every day, or is it like
Yeah,
every couple
a couple
days?
times a day,
Yeah. Oh.
maybe 3, 4, 5 times a day or so, depending on how much they've ate, which they do eat
A lot.
200 to 300 pounds a day for a full-grown elephant.
Wow.
Of course, these numbers can fluctuate for juvenile elephants or bull elephants, which we do not have any males at our facility, but our females, they do eat around 200 to 300 pounds a day. A portion of that is about 10 to 15 pounds of their produce items. We use produce for our husbandry, which is basically a fancy word for healthcare. So any type of behaviors we're asking them to do. This is really the biggest part of our day is we check our elephants from tip of the trunk to tip of the tail every single day. So we get eyes on their overall skin care from their backs to their trunks, the base of their trunk. We can get eyes on their eyes, inside their ears. We can look, we can also look at their teeth inside their mouths. And then we'll actually get eyes on the bottoms of their feet a couple times a week. And then we'll look them all the way down to the tail, make sure everything looks good. Out of the 5 elephants that we have here, 4 of them are considered geriatric elephants. So our preventative health care is a huge focus in our day. The average age for an Asian elephant to live is usually about mid-40s. And the 4 geriatric females that we have are currently all in their 50s. So that is a huge ode to our vet team that we have here, which is like right across the habitat from us. They are awesome with checking on our elephants every single day and making sure we have a lot of preventative healthcare measures in place. So they get things like Cosequin and fatty acid, which is for their joints. That's all kind of lubricants for the joints and things like that. So all those kind of preventative healthcare things. We also do things like yoga with our elephants, which basically looks like stretching behaviors. Of course, all of these things are through positive reinforcement, but all of these types of measures have helped keep our girls healthy and hopefully living nice, long lives. It is possible for Asian elephants to live into their 60s and 70s, so we're really hoping to get them to that point. And I didn't mention our 5th elephant. She is 33, so she's younger. She's no longer of breeding age, but she is the daughter of one of our elephants here. So she was born at Busch Gardens 33 years ago. She actually just celebrated a birthday.
That must have been cute, little baby elephant.
Yeah. But that's kind of makes up a lot of our day. We do also offer tours through the zoo. So I know on our website, there's a way to go look up our tours. There are a lot of amazing ones. If you choose elephants, we would be honored, but you really can't go wrong. There are some amazing tours that we offer. But we basically what that looks like is welcoming guests into our behind the scenes areas. We walk them through our entire barn and our husbandry area. So basically all the areas that we take care of our elephants that the public guests cannot see from our overlook. And then we'll take them out to the front where they can get a up close view with our elephants and get to take some pictures in front of them and ask any questions that they may have. And we'll just give all the information that we can share about our girls. And then in addition to that, we do also like to open up that elephant interaction area as often as we possibly can so that outside of our tours, we're still giving those guest engagement opportunities as much as we possibly can, just based on our staffing, weather, how the elephants are doing that day. But we are luckily, I think I can safely speak for my entire team that we love guest engagement. We love popping on the mic and having conversations with our guests, answering any of their questions.
Yeah, because you get to talk about all this.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's so fun to share it with everybody. And we love when people have really good questions and they're interested in our animals and what we're doing here.
Well, we've been doing some animal tours recently around just to experience them. I think we're going to have to do
Elephants.
the elephant one
For
next.
sure.
Please
It'll be really
do.
fun.
Question.
Yes.
Shania
Yeah.
and I
so
will be
fun.
over.
I love
You
that.
should.
That'd
It would be a lot of
fun.
fun.
Bria, if there's any young kid out there watching right now that says, I also want to take care of elephants, I do want to be a zookeeper also, what advice would you give them?
Oh, this is just such a near and dear place to my heart because I'm a big dreamer and I'm someone who believes that all dreams can become possible. I really do. So for any little kid that's out there that's thinking that they want to work with animals, you can do it. You really can if you put your mind to it. I know it's a cliche a little bit, but I totally believe it. But I would recommend all different types of opportunities. So here at Busch Gardens, we offer camps. So you can actually stay at Busch Gardens for a week or so, and you get a lot of exposure to all the different zoo teams. We'll involve them like keepers. We also have that Keeper for a Day program. So you can sign up to just basically shadow us for a day and be involved. So there's some of those things that they can get involved in. Also volunteering for, there's many animal facilities that offer animal volunteers. So that's a good way to get involved. But I highly recommend kind of moving into college and getting a 4-year degree in some type of science related field, and follow that up with some internships. So some of the best ways to find some of those job listings and internship and volunteer listings would be through Association of Zoos and Aquariums website, which Busch Gardens is a part of. For short, it's called AZA. Basically what AZA is, they are kind of a accrediting body that holds us to a higher standard of animal welfare than USDA alone, which USDA is also one of our certifications. But the AZA has a job board where they can list a lot of those opportunities. So that's a really good place to find out some of those accredited places that have some opportunities like that. That's a good place to look. But also just talk to the keepers. If you see one of us, stop us, ask some questions.
Next time you see Bria, ask her questions.
Yeah, come to our talks, come to our tours. I'm someone, since I fell in love with this field through a keeper talk and through an interaction with the team, I never underestimate the power of opening that elephant interaction area and doing a keeper talk and even stuff like this. Thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to expose more of it, because it can be kind of a niche type of field and you're kind of wondering how to get in, and there's a couple avenues that you can definitely utilize, and we're happy to be one of those and kind of open the door for whoever's interested.
You can do it.
You can do it. I'm such a dreamer, so I totally believe in it.
I love it. And so we know that you are here at Busch Gardens and you work with the elephants, but when you're not here working, what do you usually like to do? You know, what are your hobbies?
Oh, okay.
What do you do?
Just throwing in something a little bit different. Well, I recently married, so that was fun. Thank you. And we have 2 dogs and a cat, so of course more animal things at home. And they're like my children.
What are their names? What kinds of dogs and cats are
we
they?
have 2 golden retrievers named Finnegan and Louie. And then we have a cat named Gunther. So in case you caught those are Harry Potter and Friends references.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you got it?
I love it.
But my family's obviously around here and my friends, so I'm a big quality time type of person. So I just love spending time with my family and friends, getting dinners, hanging out at the house. I love traveling, so my goal is to do all the national parks in North America someday. So stuff like that. I love being outside, which luckily I have a job that I'm outside most of the day. But yeah, just kind of spending time with my loved ones and living life.
Fun. Yeah. And what's your favorite thing to do at Busch Gardens as a guest if you just come here?
As a guest.
That's not the elephant.
I mean, it's not the elephant.
You can't pick that.
I mean, I do love the the Velt tour, so the
Yeah.
Serengeti tours. I mean,
It's a good one.
I just love feeling like you're immersed in the wildlife like that. I mean, my favorite ride growing up was Rhino Rally, which no longer exists now.
Throwback.
But I used to love it. You drove through and got to see all
course.
of the animals and everything like that. So of course that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do love roller coasters. Who doesn't love roller coasters?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Thrilling.
you can't. I mean, you need 2 days here to do it all and
I know,
see it all.
right?
It's so
Yeah.
good. I mean, I guess if you had a really good plan, you could probably get it all done. But
You walk really
it's
fast.
such a good park. Such a good park. Yeah.
But
I
maybe
can't
you do like
recommend it
all
enough.
the tours too, like
Oh my gosh, yes.
That'd be cool.
I haven't even done most of the tours. So my goal is to
Yeah.
be able to get a lot of those tours
us
in.
too. Yeah, we're trying to hit all of them.
Good.
Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Next time you see Bria in the park, make sure to ask her all the
Say
elephant
hi.
questions.
Yes, please say hi.
And do the elephant tour to learn more.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, speaking of tours and meeting animals and all that good stuff, you and I actually got to go do one of the tours the other day.
Yes, we did. It's actually one of my favorite tours here at Busch Gardens because not only can the very, very young kiddos take part in this tour, but it's one of the most up-close interactions you'll have with any of our animals on property.
It is, and it is the Aldabra Tortoise Tour. Aldabra? Aldabra. I don't know how to say it, but Aldabra Tortoise Encounter. And it sure was one shell of a time, if I do say so myself.
Your puns today, Shania.
I'm on fire. I know.
You are on something.
But it was a really fun experience. We got to meet Bubba
We did.
and Jimmy.
We did.
And they were so sweet. We got to feed them sweet potato, was
Sweet
it?
potato, yeah.
They loved it.
And it was really cool. Like, we talked about these giant elephants earlier. It's really interesting to see this 500-pound tortoise waddle over to you.
So cute.
And as soon as you walk into their habitat, right, they want that human interaction. They know that they're going to get enrichment. They know that they're going to get fed.
Yes.
But they were just as cute and cuddly as your dog at home.
They really were.
Which is bizarre to think about, right, with a big tortoise.
Yeah, it was so cute. And like you said, they just obviously love people and like love doing these enrichment sessions too. So it was so fun to see, the relationship with the keeper as well and just like how they interact with us. It was really, really cool. I loved it.
One of my favorite moments in the tour yesterday was Michael, who was our tour guide, clued us in on some of the tortoise's favorite things.
Yeah.
And if you think about a tortoise shell and how big it is, right, they can't really get back to their backside at all. So doing little things like just scratching the back of their legs or their shins or touching the back of their shell, it's very stimulating for them.
Yeah.
And they, would stand up, they would stretch for you.
Jimmy has like a little sweet spot. If you like touch it, he kind of just like gets up, almost like a little tickle. I love it.
Was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And again, it's a tour, one of the tours that we have on property that very little kids can take part in. So a lot of our tours have age restrictions. This one has our youngest age restriction. And of course, you can book it online, buschgardenstampa.com, or even while you're in the park walking around. We've got signage and QR codes all over the park where you can say, hey, I want to learn a little more about that animal. I want to get up close and inside the habitat. And you can book those while you're here as well.
Absolutely. Fun for the whole family. And like you said, it's like an educational moment too. Obviously it's fun and it's unique, but you really do learn a lot on these tours and you kind of leave being like, I know everything about Aldabra tortoises now. I feel like an expert.
It was a lot of fun.
It was.
Shania, this was the most action-packed episode of the first drop we've had yet.
Yes, I think it was.
We had Bria, we had the tortoise. What else did we hit today? Coaster Coffee,
Passenger Awards, Viva, Cinco.
It was
lots of
action-packed.
stuff. Yeah.
Nothing left to do now but our trivia question. In Bria's interview, she mentioned that one of our beautiful Asian elephants loves cold weather. Who was the elephant?
I know what elephant it was.
It's one of the only trivia questions I've been certain of so far on this show.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. So comment down below your answer to be entered to win a swag bag full of Busch Gardens items.
I love swag.
I love swag.
You can wear it when you come to the park too.
And of course, our motto is, if it's free,
it's for me.
That wraps up another episode of The First Drop.
It was lovely.
It was lovely. It was a pleasure being here with you.
It was a thrilling time.
It was a thrilling. You just needed one more pun, didn't
Roller
you?
coaster ride. There, I'm done. I'm done now.
Roller coaster ride. I'm gonna go to Coaster Coffee. You wanna come with me? I need
Let's
another cup of
go.
coffee.
Yes.
So
Okay.
that's
See you
okay.
guys later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Are we starting right now? Maybe if you did your job right, people.
Just look for the angle that I picked my nose in the shot and line them all up.
All right.
Okay. That whole interview went so well. Now we have this.
And welcome to the first drop.
Do I say the first drop?
I thought we were going to say it together.
Okay. Sorry.
I think we should just use that. Can we just use that? Pew. Pew, pew. First drop. Turtle.